Hey everyone, hope everyone's doing good. So my name is Arvind. Uh, this is my first video that I've created on YouTube. I have a channel called Cricket Freak. So the basic intent of this video is that to give some reviews and and just to state my viewpoint how how the matches went by. It's totally about cricket. So I know a lot of people have interest in talking about or debating about this game, but it took a lot of courage and a lot of thought process for me to get into this, considering I'm a sort of an introvert. So I would request your support and your comments in the sense if there's any ways of improvement or do's and don'ts. So, talking about the matches that went by this week, let's start off with Ashes. Amazing. As always, Ashes, it's a purest form of Test cricket. It's the ancient rivalry between the English and the Aussies that brings us, glued up to the match. And me being an avid, cricket fan, and I've been watching, and a true admiration of, of obviously the Indian cricket. I bleed blue till I die, but my second favorite team is the Aussies. So they have already conquered the series, though they have regained the ashes. The urn stays with them. So it's been a one-sided affair for all the three matches, in the sense that they had a huge margin of victories. In the sense they declared the Aussies in the first test, they declared around 416, and the English were bundled out for 265. In the sense that the first test was a comprehensive victory. They won by 9 wickets, and if you see the second match, the Aussies won by 275 runs. That's a huge margin. And in terms of the third test, what a comeback! What a comeback by Scotty Boland. He had a couple of chances which he was given during the IPL, but who knew for someone who's been a veteran with the for the domestic circuit for the Australians, he would do such a wonderful thing. He's at 32. Just imagine in his front of his home ground, picking up 6 wickets. That is a game changer. In just one spell, he just demolished the English team, and it was a huge margin. That in the sense they won by an innings and 14 runs. And the fourth test, I mean, when we say about cricket, everyone these days it's totally engrossed in the T20s and the IPL and the Big Bash. But me personally, who've been following cricket from a long time, since when I was like 7 years, I do remember. I enjoyed the cricket at the purest form, in the sense the Test cricket at its best. I was fortunate enough to watch the live match, obviously on television, between the Australians and the England and the Englishmen. The fourth test, everyone presumed that it was a one-sided affair. They had Usman Khawaja. We need to talk about this guy. He played some 40 odd tests. Lot of good decent performances in the past, which I knew before this worthwhile test, was that in I think it was Abu Dhabi or Sharjah, he had a match winning. When I say match winning, he had drawn the test. It was Saeed Ajmal at one end, and and how the Pakistanis play in the Middle East, like grounds like Abu Dhabi and Sharjah. He was at its best, and Khawaja had has the burden of saving the test match, which in fact he did. So after that, he was in a hiatus. He was not picked for the test team for a long time. He was playing for the Big Bash, but sudden out of nowhere he was given a surprise call, and God, who else can do it like the way this man did? Back to back centuries in SCG, being his home ground, and it's only the third batsman after Walters and the great Ricky Ponting to have century in SCG on consecutive innings in a single match. And you'll be surprised, Khwaja's average is over 100% in SCG. He has like 6 matches odd, and he has hit close to 620 runs. That is amazing and incredible. I mean, he just sees the opportunity with both hands. This is the comeback you need. you know uh, the one end you keep waiting for the opportunity, and when you get it, you would not leave it. So amazing comeback by Usman Khawaja. I need to congratulate on your on a comeback, well deserved. uh, And talking about the resilience which the English cricket team showed, it was amazing. It seemed like it was all over, but the senior guys like Bairstow, Johnny Bairstow, this is something which which is a positive thing for the English people. Century at the first innings, and good odd 30 odd something, and he faced he was occupied in the crease for about 96 balls or something, like close to around 16 overs. I mean, doing it on on a fifth and final day with the seam, it's an unconventional bounce, and the mighty attack of the Australians, which has the likes of Mitchell Stark, Scotty Boland, mm, Pat Cummins, Nathan Lyon, Cameron Green. So these guys chip in with, whenever they come, they get their extra, they get this bounce that is really evident. And what I feel is that the Australians batted too long in the second innings, in the sense they had to declare about, even when I was listening to the commentary of Shane Warne, what he was saying is that 340 is quite a decent target, but these guys stretched a lot, and I feel that is when they lost about potentially 14 to 15 overs in the final day. So at the end of it, that played a vital part in the sense, they held on to the match, and good thing was that when the lights were offered to the batsmen, the umpires, when the umpires said that the pace bowlers cannot bowl. As a surprise, Steve Smith was given the ball, and you would not believe he had just picked up a wicket, and it was so close. I mean, this is what I was talking about. Test cricket at its best. Gone are the days where you don't get to see a result, but these days you have a lot of matches that do have a finish. Fifth day of the test match, couple of overs to go. Steve Smith been given the ball, and boy, he just did it. He picked up the important wicket of Jack Leach, and it was down to James Anderson and Stuart Broad, the two veterans. Probably these two were playing at the last match in the Australian soil as far as the SCG is concerned. And James Anderson, who has got the most number of not outs for any batsman, 101 not outs, he made it 102. They held on for 1 over, and I mean, amazing. Good. So if at all English has to take something from this match, it is this thing. Good couple of positive notes is that Bairstow is back, and good resilience shown. So another thing that happened, was obviously the Indian tour of South Africa. We won the first match. The fortress was conquered in Centurion. Uh, it's a proud moment for all Indians, wherein which we are the first team from the Asian country to do so. We all know how Centurion is a fortress, and to go there and win it in style is amazing. And Virat Kohli, I mean, you don't have to tell anything about him. He's achieved a lot, although his numbers from the past 2 years doesn't show much of not much of his justice to his capability. But things apart, he has achieved a lot as a captain. That grit and the comeback spirit is amazing. And uh, everyone knows our bowling line is lethal. The likes of Mohammad Shami, Jasprit Bumrah, and Siraj, and Ravichandran Ashwin. Although Ashwin has not been at its best, but I think third test is to watch out for. So coming to the second test, Johannesburg, it's a happy hunting. It was a happy hunting ground for us. We haven't lost there, but I feel somehow we went for the kill pretty early in the second test match, in the second innings. Couple of disappointments. I know it's been going around the cards for players like Cheteshwar Pujara and Ajinkya Rahane, but as you say, form is temporary, class is permanent. You can see the positive intent shown by Cheteshwar Pujara and Rahane right from the word go. They stood when the team was in trouble, and when that Virat Kohli is not there, so there's a lot of added pressure, considering the fact that it was a difficult scenario for them. A lot of questions were raised, and the selection in the team was really skeptical. So they made the most of it, but contributing 50 odd, both of them. And it was wonderful to see Pujara having a strike rate which is pretty high than what he actually plays. Uh, so what I could see is that from the first innings and the second innings, there was not much intent to get on the front foot. If you see, a lot of deliveries which were in the half volley. It was not middle. In the sense, it was more defensive. But if you see the second innings, he took it on, and Rahane also showed a nice positive intent. But uh, I think Shardul Thakur and Rishabh Pant have to make the most of it in terms of batting. We all know what Shardul is all about. He has taken 6 wickets in the first innings. I mean, pretty much in his he's just played a single digit tests, and to do that on a South African soil is just incredible. But Rishabh Pant has to make sure that he contributes a lot with the bat in the winning course, because after the Aussies series, we haven't seen anything special from Rishabh Pant, considering the talent that he's got. And in this in a way, we were bundled out pretty it was above par score, considering 240 is was never chased by the South Africans. It was last time it did it was in the year 2010. So over a decade though. But they were in trouble in the initial stage. But the way Dean Elgar, I mean, this guy, he's an unsung hero for the South Africans. When we say about South African batting, we always talk about Graham Smith, Jack Callis, ABD, and Faf du Plessis. But this guy has been here there from a long time, for almost like 10 years, playing around 70-80 matches, and he's averaging a decent around 42. But if you see both the matches, he has not lost us. He didn't throw his wicket. He's there to stick around. He plays for sessions, and that's what he did. He made sure that they don't lose the early wickets. And yeah, he got a good support from Peterson, who smashed around 62 odd in the first innings, and Bavuma. I mean, this guy is really a class act. I mean, lot of straight drives and the cover drives that he played is just perfect. So a lot of good intent shown, and wanted to see. Although a lot of things were spoken about his dismissal in the first innings. And so he was he was in a difficult frame of mind, in the sense he didn't contribute much in the first innings, but he took the attack. So overall, it was a good play by by the South Africans. And couple of things to look out for the Indians. One thing is batting off the form of Rishabh Pant and Shardul Thakur in terms of the bat. And Mohammad Siraj, we don't know how worse is his injury, hamstring. So that had an impact in second innings, though he wasn't 100% fit. So things to look out for in the third test is the big comeback. Big news is that Virat Kohli is back. So you can expect a lot, and I certainly feel that this is the moment for us. This is the only thing that we couldn't win a series. If you say the all the big countries, we've got it. Name it Australia, and the English, and the West Indies, and Sri Lanka. But this is one thing which we haven't done it. A victory has been we have been missing this victory about the series in South Africa. And I certainly feel this is the time for us to up the ante, and hoping for the best. So this is the video. So I know it's kind of very lengthy though, but it's just my first video. So I want your honest feedback, and I would continue to give my reviews. As I always say, I bleed blue till I die, but I'll be really honest with my views. I don't support any team apart from India, but I'll give my honest views. And I just want your help in terms of any criticism, and your views, and the likes and subscription. This is Arvind signing off. Cheers.